There's only a handful of things in life that people get truly passionate about. No matter where you come from or what you do for a living, one of those passions is golf. The game of golf will drive you crazy with equal amounts of excitement and despair. But you can't walk away because the challenge and the beauty of the beast pulls you back for more. Join me as I talk to professionals from film, television, music, sports, and business to hear what made them who they are, pushed them, motivated them to succeed, and what drew them to the game. My name is Dave West, and this is The Golf Bag. In 2019, I launched my podcast, The Golf Bag. I used to be an actor. Now I'm a television producer. I love sports, and I caddy a lot for my son in the junior golf circuit. I thought, why not combine it all and do a podcast? But in a time of quarantine and social distancing and a lack of sports, I wanted to do a show that talks golf and sports. This is the evolution of that podcast. This is the YouTube channel for The Golf Bag Live. I will still do the podcast because I love sitting down with people and hearing their stories about their own personal evolution. And with the podcast, I can really take the time to tell those stories. What I want to do here is different. For starters, there'll be a guy in my ear named Mike. Mike, anything you want to say?
Hey, how you guys doing out there? This is Mike. I'm Dave's ear.
That's Mike right there. And in here, I will have K-Mac. He will be overseeing the Q&A part of this. But this won't just be me. I promise there will be guests. There will also be you. We're streaming live on YouTube. This is interactive. You can ask questions to me or a guest, and in a perfect world, we have an answer. I know overall that might not sound that revolutionary, but we have the ability to do a few different things and show a few different things. And again, it is an evolution. It is live. There will be mistakes. You want to talk golf, sports, food, movies, or music, go to YouTube, search for The Golf Bag, please subscribe to get the alerts. And when we're doing a show, a new live show, I want you to be a part of it. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk sports. As everyone knows, everything in our lives has been either canceled or postponed or just put on hold. Sports are such a huge part of the American landscape. I wanted to quickly update what has happened and where we are up to this point. March Madness, canceled. 67 total games. All college spring sports. But the NCAA stated that all spring athletes will get an extra year of eligibility, so that's good. The Masters, postponed. More on that later. The British Open, canceled. The IMG Junior World's Golf Tournament, canceled for the first time in 53 years. The Kentucky Derby has been rescheduled from May 2nd to September 5th. Wimbledon. It is the first time Wimbledon has been canceled since 1945 because of World War II. It is also the first time since the tournament began in 1877 that the event will not be played during peacetime. The French Open, traditionally late May time slot, will be played from September 20th to October 4th. The Olympics. The 2020 Summer Olympics will be played in 2021. Start of baseball, delayed. NBA, paused. NHL, paused. UFC, paused. They even canceled Comic-Con. But tonight is the NFL draft. More on that in a second. Now, here's the status of all the major sports and where they are up to now. Golf. The PGA has put a plan in place to restart the tour beginning on June 8th with the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial in Fort Worth. If they're able to keep this on track, the schedule will roll out 14 events, ending with the Tour Championship at East Lake in Atlanta on the weekend of August 31st to September 7th. The first 4 events will be closed to the general public. No fans. As far as the majors go, the Masters will be played November 9th through the 15th. It's the first time the event has not been played in April since it started in 1934. The PGA Championship was originally set to be played May 11th through the 17th. That has been moved to August 3rd to the 9th. The U.S. Open was moved from its home on Father's Day weekend to September 14th to the 20th. The Open, or the British Open, depending on what you call it, has been canceled. Like Wimbledon, for the first time since 1945 because of World War II. There is no plan to reschedule it, so it will not be played until 2021, and Shane Lowry gets to keep the claret jug for 2 years. Even though the Masters and the U.S. Open will be played this year, they both happen after the Tour Championship and fall into the 2021 season. So I don't know what that means. As far as the Ryder Cup goes, it's still scheduled for September 22nd to the 27th, but there is talk of playing it with no fans. It's not been a very popular idea with the players since the craziness of the fans are such a huge part of what the Ryder Cup is, and the experience is so great for the fans and for the golfers. And let's face it, home field is a huge advantage. And finally, it was announced that Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson will play each other again in another match. This time they'll be joined by Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. The match, called the Champions for Charity, is scheduled for late May and will air on TNT with the proceeds to benefit relief for COVID-19. No announcement of the dollar value of the purse. Last time it was $9 million, which Phil won. Major League Baseball. Right now there's a talk of a plan that could divide the league up to 3 different states for games. Florida, Texas, Arizona. They have ballparks in St. Petersburg, Phoenix, and Arlington, which have roofs, retractable or otherwise. Using those stadiums would help protect the games from rainouts and other extreme weather, and it could also allow for multiple games to be played in those stadiums all in one day. Again, though, no fans. But this is currently just talk, and with no real plan laid out publicly, doing this would mean having to quarantine all the players, the coaches, and the team staff. Some players have spoken out that they are not a big fan of that idea because they'll be away from their families. And with all of this having to go through the players' union, who knows what will happen. The NHL commissioner recently said, quote, from an NHL standpoint, we're viewing all of our options. We want to be as ready to go as we can as soon as we get the green light. And the green light may not be crystal clear because there may be still some places in the U.S. and Canada where we can't play and other places where we can. We're looking at all options. Nothing's been ruled out and nothing's been ruled in. And it's largely going to be determined what we do by how much time there's left in the season because we have to focus on next season as well. End quote by Gary Bettman. The NHL is estimated to lose $1 billion in revenue. The NBA, no decision has been made at this time and probably won't be discussed until after May 1st at the earliest. The early estimations that have been thrown out is mid to late June. The league could the league did have a couple of online competitions. They hosted the NBA 2K and a horse competition. They were won by Devin Booker, who won the 2K, Phoenix Suns, and Mike Conley Jr., who won the horse. The winnings from that were donated to a charity focused on COVID relief. If you haven't seen the last two episodes of The Last Dance, by the way, the documentary about the Chicago Bulls, this is on their last run in 1997 and 1998. Watch it. It's great insight on the team and the GOAT, Michael Jordan. WWE has been pre-recording events at their WWE training facility in Florida and releasing those pre-recorded videos. The governor of Florida has deemed the WWE an essential business, and they will be allowed to resume airing live matches. Okay. NASCAR. As of now, all NASCAR Cup races through May 9th are postponed. All races have been moved onto the online racing simulation platform, iRacing.com. They are virtual races featuring many of the same drivers who drive in NASCAR. And up to this point, they've had 4 races. No other races are planned, though, so I don't really know the future of that. But what I've seen, super cool. UFC. They've canceled all fight night events and are pending on rescheduling until more information becomes available. And the MLS, the season is further suspended until June 8th. Finally, the NFL. Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, and so did Gronk. Oh, yeah, and the NFL draft is today, April 23rd. Last year, it was held in Nashville, and for the first 2 years, it attracted over 200,000 people each day. This year, it was set to be held in Las Vegas, estimated attendance 500,000 people each day. Instead, it'll be a series of sequestered and quarantined NFL coaches and GMs, all sorting it out from afar with no attendance. But they do have a plan in place, and I happen to know someone here on this team that knows that plan. Well, Mike Del Tufo, tell us what you know.
Well, what I know is it's going to be a pretty crazy draft this evening that you're going to watch. And it's been in the planning stages for literally about a month to a month and a half, give or take. They knew something was going to happen. They just didn't know what was going to happen. But the NFL, ESPN, NFL Network all got together and drew it up. How they were going to do it and when they were going to do it already was done. They knew that it was going to be online and it was going to be done, of course, today, the day of the draft. ESPN teamed up with, of course, the NFL Network and the NFL to create a plan where everyone was sequestered. Roger Goodell, the players that would be drafted, all the talent that would be there, and everyone else. So essentially, everybody that's out there has to be in their own house to make the draft happen. This has never been done. And it's one of those things, Dave, that in theory, to think about it and to like plan it, everybody had to literally dream it up and make it happen in a matter of like 2-3 weeks after they decided they knew it wasn't going to happen in Vegas. They really wanted it in Vegas. It would have been insane in Vegas. I was in Nashville last year, and it was unbelievable. It was
insane. The amount of people there, it looked like Times Square on New Year's Eve in New York City.
That's exactly what I told people. And I mean, I've been in Times Square. You lived in New York. You were in Times Square. Right. You understand that. That's a great analogy. There was 250,000 people on Broadway in Nashville. Every bar, every inch of every square inch of every single place was filled with people. And it looked like you were sitting waiting for that ball to drop back in the days in New York City. It was
Now, what does the NFL feel about this? Because without the people there, then it's not driving the television ratings probably quite as much. Las Vegas isn't making money like Nashville made money. Are they excited about this challenge, or are they like, let's just get this one behind us and get back to the way it used to be?
They totally are excited about this challenge because you got to think about it. This is the future. Esports has been on the internet for years.
Right.
I worked for Riot League of Legends, and at Riot League of Legends, everything that we're doing today pretty much was done. The technical people and the engineers at Riot in esports were able to create something that no one ever thought. Kids playing something at home, bringing it into a central location, then producing that to go out to the internet. They were kind of on the cutting edge. The NFL, they weren't ready for this, but now they understand that this could be the future. You will see one thing that you never saw before. Every single player that gets drafted, Dave, will have the ability to be brought in live. Years ago, you'd have to have rented a satellite truck or had some type of internet.
Unless they're there.
Unless they were physically there. Yeah. Of course, the draftees that get invited, which are usually the top 30, maybe 35 or 40, and a lot of them don't want to come because they want to be with their families. And you have to pay for a lot of that. The NFL doesn't pay all that. So in a sense, to have your family around you, you want to be home. It takes me back to my buddy Deion Sanders and my buddy Michael Irvin, who were sitting at their house and they pick up a brick cell phone that they just got and they go, oh my God, Jerry Jones, you drafted me. Oh my God, blah, 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 you drafted. That's the difference. I think what we're going to see tonight, which we've never seen before, is we're going to see people, and I say people, the kids, interacting even more, because this is the generation they've grown up in.
That's true.
We're in the internet generation. These kids.
That's true.
I mean, Dave, you know, these kids are the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. First of all, I always hope there's trades, because when they just go number two,
amazing.
Next up on the board, it drives me nuts.
It's
when there's trades and they're like, hang on, and all the, the world's on fire, then it's like, that's when it gets really good. Now, technically, the NFL and ESPN, they control everything. They have their SAT trucks, they have the set, they have everything. They've got technical directors. Now, this is essentially everybody is sort of on their own. What if their internet goes down? What if the fire alarm goes off? Or what if something happens? Is the potential for risk and failure high?
Great question.
Or is that all part of the excitement?
It's part of the excitement. We actually, on the Rich Eisen show, which I work on, people out there may not know, but I work on the Rich Eisen show. We talked about that this week. The fact everyone's going to have a backup plan. Almost every team is going to have multiple people that will know the draft, be connected, and all have the ability to get online and say, okay, we draft Dave West, we draft Mike Del Tufo. They're going to have that, which is amazing, because if you think about it, in years past, you had your draft room, your war room, they called it, at your main facility. Yeah, they called Radio City. They called Chicago. They called Philly. They called Dallas. And there was a table. They picked the telephone up. They give their draft card into the NFL. This is going to be minus all that. And
what are they texting, or what are they doing?
Well, here's what happens. Basically, Roger Goodell, who will be in his basement, will literally have an assistant next to him within feet that will get the draft and hand Roger Goodell, just like he would have done had they been live, a draft card.
Is he going to pipe in booing?
Well, they were talking about this. There's actually, you can boo Roger Goodell. And I always feel bad because I've met Roger. He's a great guy. And I feel bad because people sit there and they always kind of give Roger the business. And I've heard it. I mean, I mixed at Radio City Music Hall, where when the Jets would pick or the Giants would pick or Philly, it was literally like you were going, it was like the booing was, I mean, I would open up all the crowd mics just to hear it, because as soon as Goodell came to the stage, people started booing him. And it was funny. He actually kind of plays along with it now. He didn't like it at first, but then he learned, you know what?
It's all part of the gig, man.
Yeah, these guys, they don't like me. They like
part of the gig.
It's part of the gig, and it makes it fun.
You and I have talked, and I would like to do another live show during the draft and looking at doing something Saturday. So let's talk again on Saturday about what you saw Thursday and Friday. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about where Burrow went and Tua and Jalen Hurts and everybody else and who got what and who got traded. But I want to know, technically, did it work?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna pay attention to a lot. I know exactly stuff that I can't really say because obviously I'm friends with a lot of people, but I know exactly how they're gonna do it. I know what they're doing with systems and stuff, and it's gonna be pretty cool the way it all comes together with A and B and C and D.
Right.
And you had a good thing that you brought up for a second. The trades. What's going to happen when there's a trade and all of a sudden, hypothetically, you're Miami. You have 3 picks in the top 20, 30 picks.
First round, they have 3 picks.
They have 3 picks. You all of a sudden at the last minute decide, you know what, I want Barrow. I want Joe. Or I want Tua. I want one of these guys. You theoretically could trade your pick. And then it's going to be like, we got to pick up the phone. Now, remind you, these guys are all going to be on the Zoom type things, and they're using Microsoft, a new Microsoft.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amazing, and that's the stuff
we're not going to. Goodell's assistant is there, like scratching stuff out on the card,
and we're not going to see this. Yeah, and we're not going to see it.
It's going to be great,
and it's going to be awesome. It's actually going to be, and you know what? I really love when stuff's innovated and stuff's changed. I've always liked that. And I think that's.
I like that they're making something new out of everybody. We're all
exactly,
and it's awful. But the way that they're still going on, and this will, if we get back to normal next year, this group of kids that are drafted, they're like, we were in the coronavirus draft. Unfortunately, they don't get to go to the team. They don't get to go to the facilities. I know the Saints shut down all summer programs, and Sean Payton said, just come to camp in July in the best shape you've ever been in your life. That's on you. So it's probably going to change quite a few things. And it all starts tonight. It is 2:45 in California. The draft starts in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Real quick, Mike, what is that right behind you right there? What is that?
That's an Emmy award. That's one of my friends.
Emmy. How many Emmys do you have, Mike?
6. I've been nominated probably like between 10 and 15. But I like my I always keep one of those babies when I do my music show. People kind of laugh. Well, yeah, it's back here. I do a DJ music show on Fridays in here. So I kind of always leave that thing just to let people know, yeah, I'm a DJ, but I'm pretty good at audio too. Well, I mean, I'm patting myself on the back. Exactly, bro.
All right, man, thanks. We'll talk
Anytime.
Saturday. Let me know about any technical glitches because you're going to see stuff that the normal person doesn't see.
100%. I totally will, and I'll come back in. Of course, I'll talk to you on Saturday again.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Mike's out. We have now 2 hours and 14 minutes until we go live on the draft. The first 10 in the draft tonight, the order is Cincinnati, Washington, Detroit, New York Giants, Miami, the LA Chargers, Carolina, Arizona, Jacksonville, and Cleveland. Miami, as Mike and I just said, has 3 picks in the first round. And Jacksonville, San Francisco, Minnesota, and the Las Vegas Raiders all have 2 picks. All right, there it is. Up to the minute, at least what I know. So go watch the draft. It's always interesting, usually provides a few surprises. And because of the state of the world right now, who knows what's going to happen, but it's a groundbreaking new approach. So I'll have more live shows soon, like real soon, hopefully Saturday. So like the videos. Please hit the subscribe button to be alerted when we're happening and when we're going live. And I want you to be a part of it. Stay safe. Protect yourself. I'm Dave West. This is the Golf Bag Live. Now, back to sequestering. Thank you.